Now moving on to Charles and something coronation related. This week the palace released the Royal Coronation emblem. Can you run us through this and can you explain the symbolism within the emblem?
Yes, I will try to. I have to remind myself, put my glasses on and make sure I get it absolutely right. The point about this country now, a lot of people in Australia will be familiar, but in case you're not, we call it the United Kingdom, and it is still at the moment just about the United Kingdom, although Scotland, there's a great move towards independence in Scotland. To be absolutely clear about that, though, it's not about breaking away from the crown. Whoever is on the throne, it's now King Charles, and one day it will be King William V. There's no suggestion by the Scottish people that they want to get rid of that, but it does mean the kingdom is sort of in bits, if you like, and in danger of flying apart. So I think the important thing about having an emblem for the coronation, which will be the symbol used every time the coronation is mentioned or covered or in any way represented publicly, this emblem will be along with it. And it will have all these elements. So we've got the rose of England, the thistle of Scotland, the daffodil for Wales, and the shamrock for Northern Ireland. Those four key parts of this United Kingdom for the moment, all put together. And I think it's full of symbolism, but it is a reminder for everybody that at the moment we still all cling together. A couple of things to be said about that as well. When we had a referendum, and there was a referendum in Scotland a few years ago about whether they should break away and become not part of the United Kingdom anymore, very interesting then that the Queen said one or two things. One particular thing, when she heard the results of the referendum, was said to be very pleased. And before the referendum, our late Queen said that she thought people in Scotland should think very carefully. And what people did then was run a microscope over those words. What does she really mean? I think we all know she was talking about trying to keep the United Kingdom together. So this bit of symbolism, this logo, it's not just there for decoration. It does mean something rather important. For those who think we want to keep this country together, we want to keep the United Kingdom united, it very much represents that. You won't hear King Charles saying anything very specific about, please don't break away Scotland and all that sort of thing. Never going to do that. Keeps out of politics, and this is politics of the highest sort. But in the background, let's understand what people at the top of this country, our royalty in this case, what they probably think.
And just one last thing, with this emblem, is that something that we historically have in coronations? And if so, how does this one compare to ones of the past?
I can't recall it. No, I don't think so. You see, you have to go back a long way for coronations. The Queen, the late Queen, Queen Elizabeth, came to the throne in 1952, but wasn't crowned until the following year, 1953. You then have to go back to 1937 for her father, King George VI, for his coronation. And logos and emblems, they're pretty modern. They're sort of marketing tools, aren't they? That's the important thing about them. And those sort of things didn't really exist. I can't really recall anything exactly parallel at all. We are breaking new territory here. And if we've got a few seconds to say, the other important thing is, of course, this coronation will probably be very different from previous ones.
Right.
The 1953 coronation, which I'm just old enough to remember, was very, very long. Went on for ages and ages and ages, more than a couple of hours. This one will be much shorter, and it will be much more modern in all sorts of ways. We don't quite know exactly what will be done differently. We haven't got all the details of that yet. We might have to wait for the day itself in May. Everybody, you'll all be watching. I know you will. We'll all be riveted by it.
That's all we've got time for, Nicholas, but thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to speaking with you again soon.